She turned her midlife divorce into a story of triumph and overcoming loss through humor and hope. Marcy Miller's new book, Rebooting in Beverly Hills, is a memoir that has been touted as Sex and the City for the next generation. Please welcome Marcy to the show. How are you?
Great, thank you. Same here.
You know, the thing that I admired and enjoyed about this book is that you're writing about some really painful things, but you find some humor. You know, obviously this is very tough stuff to write about, but you managed it somehow. You managed to write about it, make us laugh, make us see the every woman in these situations. Was it hard to get to that place?
It was. It took a lot of work, but I would be driving home from a terrible date, for example, and call my best friend. And we would just start laughing so hard that I literally had to pull the car over. And she said, why don't you just go home and write about it? And so I would do that. And then over the course of a year, it started to become a memoir.
Yeah, yeah. And it's therapeutic, isn't it?
Totally.
Once you write it down, once you tell somebody else, especially a girlfriend, and you both see the absurdity of it, there's just something remarkably cathartic about that. The story you tell at the very beginning of the book is opening a piece of mail that changed your life. Tell us about that.
Well, I was living in Beverly Hills, and a note came addressed to my husband, but it was from Bergdorf Goodman, you know, the temple of shopping
it's a good store.
in New York.
Yeah.
So I opened it, and it was a thank you note from the head of the fur salon, thanking him for buying a sable coat and bringing his wife into the store. I was not in New York. So
You did a little detective work this was pretty clever. You called the store.
I actually called, I'm a lawyer, and I called my former law firm, which was in New York, and asked if I could borrow their private detective just for 2 hours. And he went over there, and within 2 hours I had all the details. And so he suggested that I then call the store, which I did, and I said to the man, the salesman, do you think the sable looks good with my hair? And he said, oh, it looks perfect with a redhead. And of course, I'm a blonde.
You're not, yeah.
So I had him.
You know, reading it, you laugh a little bit, but you cringe. You had, what, at that point, an 11-year marriage that you thought was fine.
Oh, he was, I thought, my soulmate. And I had been very ill. I'm a breast cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fantastic during that period. And I thought, this is a great guy.
And instead, your life just blows apart.
Oh, totally.
Did he have any explanation for it? Because the affair continues, right? After you discover it, this kind of goes on, and you end up in New York with him, and he's also seeing her at another locale in New York, at actually a better hotel than the one you're staying in, right? Which that'd be it. It'd be me in a frying pan against the husband at that point. But your life came apart not only in terms of your marriage and your trust in your husband, but you'd been involved in, you know, what we would consider society life in Beverly Hills, and there was a weird, I thought, response from friends and other couples and families towards you after the divorce. What happened?
Yes, although I blog for the Huffington Post, and I blogged on this. I call it the dreaded single disease. And I got well over 100 comments from women who had the same thing happen from all over the country. The second that I became single, first of all, I was the fodder of gossip, which is a terrible thing. And now with the internet, it's easy to gossip. But also, as soon as you become single, the invitations dry up to parties, because people want things coupled. You become a little bit of a threat to your girlfriends because maybe they're worried about their husband flirting with you or whatever. And you also personify their worst nightmare. They don't want to catch their husband cheating. They don't want to lose the status of being married and the money and the social status.
And you become something of a reminder of that.
Exactly. You're the poster child of it.
So you eventually launch into dating. Oh my gosh, what an exhausting, you know, thought that is. And let's just say not all of those dates were gems. How did you manage to just keep at it?
Well, you always have this hope that the next toad that you kiss is a prince. And but one of my favorites, I hired a matchmaker. You know, you always see them in the back of magazines, and you wonder what's this like.
We had kind of a team, right? So there were more than one. But there was more than one person involved in this to help you. Did you have some spiritual help?
Oh, definitely,
yeah.
absolutely. I had a psychic who was giving me great advice. I know that sounds a little bit out there, but she was terrific. She was like a counselor. And certainly I had new girlfriends who were very helpful. I had one girlfriend who fixed me up twice with really nice guys.
Right.
But this matchmaker was the worst. Those were the worst dates that I had, even though I paid a lot of money.
If you have to pay for a bad date, that is really crummy. But then fast forward, something interesting happens at the very end of the book, which I hope is the subject of your next book, and that is that there was a Mr. Right at the end of that.
Absolutely. It was a fix-up, and it was really when I wasn't interested in particularly dating. I had gotten to that point, which is really the point of the book, that you have to be happy in your single life and content, and only then are you ready to meet the right mate.
So I'm hoping now that you're happy and settled.
Definitely. He's in the audience.
Excellent. Where's the husband?
Right there.
Hello. That's a nice-looking husband. Good job. Thank you very much. It's a very entertaining book, and you can meet Marcy tonight at Third Place Books in Lake Forest Park at 7 o'clock. A portion of her book sales will be donated to Komen for the Cure. We'll have full details on our website. And for our studio audience, Marcy has a book for everybody to take home, so enjoy that. We appreciate that very much. Thank you. Next up, AAA shows us how to blend vacation with your favorite hobbies on the high seas. Some really interesting cruises. We'll be right back.